a word of advice, a challenge almost, to Tony Abbott in the lead up to the budget. Now, there is going to be a lot of anticipation in the next week about what Tony Abbott is going to do in the first hours and first days of Parliament resuming, not next week but the week after. Now, it has been widely speculated, in fact it has been almost promised from the opposition, that they will move a no confidence motion in the government. They will attempt to do on the first day of Parliament what happened on the last day of Parliament, and that is to unseat the government. But we all know, regardless of how the polls run, no matter how strong our passions are, no matter how numerous the stuff-ups are of the government, that the two key independents who would be required to get that to happen just won't vote with Tony Abbott. The last time there was a vote, of course, Bob Katter scarpered out the back door, so you need to put the hopes of that to one side. So what are we going to do for the next few months, the next 130-something days until the election? Well, here's the challenge for Tony Abbott. After that piece of legislation, after that attempt to bring down the government inevitably fails, here's the challenge, here's the next thing that Tony Abbott has to do. Tony Abbott needs to rise in the Parliament and use whatever procedures he can to try and force a vote in the Parliament to end government advertising. As you know, this government is wasting tens and tens of millions of our dollars trying to not just buy our vote with the fistful of cash that is the baby bonus or the handouts to families. They're obviously going to try and pull at our heartstrings. There'll be ads for the NDIS. There'll be $50 million worth of ads for the Gonski reforms, despite the fact that the most populous state has already signed up, despite states like Western Australia, who will get 4/5 of bugger all out of the money and have said there's no way they're going to do it. It is overtly political advertising. There's $25 million that has been spent by this government trying to flog the National Broadband Network. I showed you this graphic last night. Here is some of the money that has been spent by this government of recent years, of recent months. That's our money flogging their policies. Now, often, you don't have to do anything to access this money. You don't have to apply to anything. You don't have to fill out a form. It's just free money that comes to you, like that household assistance package. But still, they spent $13.6 million flogging the idea to us. The Clean Energy Future stuff was all about the carbon tax that, remember, you weren't paying, but they were telling you about the compensation anyway. And as for the NBN, well, you can see, $25 million. So here is the challenge to Tony Abbott. We know that the election date is September 14. He needs to go into the Parliament and vote and see how many of the independents will endorse the waste of this sort of money between now and the election. Why not have a piece of legislation? Why not pass a law that says a federal government cannot spend taxpayers' money on advertising 6 months out from an election? We know when the election date's going to be. We know the Labor Party has got virtually no one but the unions actually donating to it. So the way they're going to try and win the airtime battle with a cashed-up Liberal Party, well, firstly, the unions will have their own ads, and then secondly, they want you to pay for their political advertising. So Tony Abbott, fine. Try and pull the government down, but it ain't going to work. But it would be unbelievable that anyone but a Labor MP, dare I even say Peter Slipper, would actually vote for the spectacular and intentional political waste that are these ads. Let's pass a law. None of this advertising 6 months out from an election. When John Howard did it and he spent way too much money, it was wrong then. It is wrong now. So, Tony Abbott, rather than being wedged, there's your challenge. I'll keep talking about it for the next couple of weeks. Over to you.